Hey, Sam, this is Dan Norton from California.
Dan from California, what's on your mind?
Yeah, we talked a few weeks ago about objectivism. I don't know if you know that call.
Okay.
Yes, we know that call.
Just want to make sure. Okay.
Oh, you're the guy who has the fertility issues.
I think that, sure.
Okay. So you broke up a little bit there.
So, let's see. There's a lot I wanted to talk about since the last show. Where to start?
Well, why don't you pick the most important thing you wanted to talk about?
Most important? Okay. I guess the island example we were talking about. I'd like to go back to that.
Okay, refresh my memory now.
Okay, so I asked, it was about the issue of coercion. So if you're alone on an island, the first question is, if you're alone on an island, do you need to work to survive? And I got an answer to that from you and from Matt.
What did I say?
But I didn't hear Emma.
Well, wait.
You eventually...
All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, forget Emma. We don't need to. I don't need to take a tour of like Bradley and Emma, and then maybe we can ask the
go in the hallway,
guys working in the building and this and that. I mean, okay. So what's your point? You're going to make a point. It's not about taking a survey.
I thought there might have been some disagreement. That's why I was raising this, because Emma was the one who was bringing up the issue of coercion the most. So
yes,
I thought it would be.
But
right. What's the point you want to make, though? What's the point you want to make?
Well, I want to know what you think is and isn't coercion, ultimately, because I think that's the root of the disagreement, or at least one root.
All right, well, give me an example, and I'll tell you if I think it's coercive.
Okay, well, maybe we can... Do you know Vosh's Coconut Island example?
No.
Okay. It's kind of vulgar, so maybe I'll give a version of it.
Well, or not. How about you come up with another example? How's that?
Okay. Maybe I can debate that with him sometime if he wants. But
yeah.
So let's just say that there are two people on an island.
Okay.
And at first they don't know about each other. Like, imagine the one is on each side of the island.
Okay.
Split in half, and they don't. Okay. So each one is surviving by himself at first, and at that stage you would say, is it correct that you would say neither is being coerced?
Neither man, right?
Neither man is being coerced. I mean, if they're not in any way aware of each other, so they can't be coercing each other, and there's I don't know what other dynamic exists, but assuming there's nobody else on the island, right, they're not being coerced.
Okay, so there's no coercion if they're just by themselves in nature, acting. Okay, now suppose that they discover each other, or one discovers the other, and they start trading with each other. Like one guy says, all right, I'll do the fishing, and you work on building the shelter.
You work on building the shelter.
And so forth.
Okay.
Yeah, is there any coercion at that point?
I mean, in the way that you just described it, no.
Okay, so simply trading is not coercive. All right, so now suppose that one is much better at catching fish. So maybe one can catch like 10 times.
Wait, I thought you said that one is building the shelter and one's catching fish.
No, that was the end of the second example. I'm making modifications to examples.
Okay, so now they're both fishing. They're both fishing.
Yeah, they're both fishing independently. They're not trading now.
Okay,
but one is much better at catching fish.
But neither one of them knows this, right? Because they're not talking to each other. They don't know that they exist.
Right.
Okay.
So if one catches way more fish than the other, 10 times more fish.
10 times more fish.
There's still no.
They don't know that each other exists. So there's no coercion because they don't even know that each other exists. They can't be coercing each other.
Right. Okay. So there's massive wealth inequality, but there's no coercion yet because they're not even interacting.
Right.
Now suppose they discover each other.
Oh, hey, okay.
Okay, so one continues to be able to catch way more fish than the other one.
Right.
Is there coercion now?
Is one of them trying to get the other to do something?
Okay, well, let's say the one who can catch way more fish says, hey, I'll give you some of my fish if you do this other thing for me, like, let's say, work on building the shelter.
How desperately does this other person need fish?
Let's say, I mean, he's as desperate as he was before they met.
So he can't even fish for any
situation.
So he can feed himself.
His situation.
He can feed himself. He has fish. He's surviving.
Yeah, let's suppose he can eke out a meager existence on his own.
Well, I mean,
But
he's not starving.
better.
He's not starving.
Yeah, let's say he just gets barely enough nutrition to survive and not die. He could survive much better if he traded with the other person and he.
Well, wait a second. Does he have the strength to do to build the shelter?
If he accepts the deal.
Oh, so he doesn't have the strength to build the shelter. He has no shelter.
No, if he accepts the deal and he says, yes, I'll take some of your fish because you're so good at catching fish.
No. He's not going to take fish because the guy's so good at catching fish. He takes fish because, like, I'm starving. Like, I need fish. Does he need fish? Yes or no?
He needs more fish if he's going to be able to build a shelter. Let's say that.
He needs more fish to survive because you need shelter to survive.
No, not necessarily. If it's nice weather out on a beach or something.
Okay, so he's
don't need a house.
He's got enough food and he's living life and he's okay.
No, he's on the edge of dying.
Oh wait, so he's on the edge of dying. He's on the edge of dying.
When he's by himself.
Okay, so if he's on the edge of dying and the other guy says, I'll give you fish. In other words, I will save your life if you do this for me.
Better.
No, you just said he's on the edge of dying.
Yeah, you keep trying to have it both ways on this knife edge.
Let me ask you this, Dan.
No.
Let me give you a scenario. You and I are hiking, okay? Because you and I like to hike, and we're hanging out, and you get near an edge of a cliff, and the dirt gives way, and you're hanging on to a branch. Okay, you're alive. But it's tenuous. And I'm the only way that you're going to get saved. And I go, Dan, here, give me your hand. But wait a second. Before you give me your hand, do you have any money on you? And you say, yeah, I always travel with traveler's checks. I got hundreds of dollars of traveler's checks. And I'm like, well, Dan, I'll tell you what. If you give me those traveler's checks and sign them over to me, I just assume you travel with traveler's checks. Maybe it's cash. And you give me that, I will save your life. Is that coercive of me?
My first thought is...
You don't got much time, Dan, because that branch is starting to give way, bud.
No, I think you would be a terrible person for making that offer, but...
It's not coercive.
No, I don't think it would...
It's not coercive.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think it would just be corrupt.
It would be corrupt. Corrupt.
Yeah.
What do you mean corrupt?
Yeah.
Why corrupt?
Because you're treating the human being just terribly.
What do you mean I'm treating you terribly? I'm just making an arrangement with you. I'm giving you an opportunity. You have cash on you. It's just an exchange.
An exchange between two free-thinking
individuals.
It's just trade.
It's trade.
It's a rotten kind of trade.
What do you mean it's a rotten kind of trade? What makes it rotten, Dan?
You want to deprive someone of all his money?
What do you mean deprive you of your money? It's just your choice. Do you want your money or do you want the help?
Is it worth it to you or not?
Yeah, it's just a trade.
You said he was like giving away all his money, all his...
No, you, Dan. Dan, I'm saying to you, do you want to give me your money and I'll help you or not? Like, I'm going to trade my labor in helping you, saving your life, and for your money. It's just a trade. What's so corrupt about that? What makes it corrupt?
What's so corrupt about taking away someone's life savings?
Whoa. I didn't say life savings, just one in your pocket. If
Traveler's checks in your pocket.
It's up to you. If you don't want to, you don't have to. I'm not coercing you, am I?
obviously, if it's a trivial amount, or even if it's
okay. Wait. So what makes it corrupt, though? Okay, wait. So what makes it corrupt, though? I think we're getting to it, Dan, because corrupt's not the right word, right? What's the word that is? What is? There's some dynamic between us that you feel is wrong for me to take advantage of this. But what am I taking advantage of?
My unfortunate situation.
Your situation is such that I am using leverage to your disadvantaged situation to my benefit. There's another word for that, Dan. It starts with a C.
It is, though, bro.
It's not corrupt.
Why isn't it Why isn't it coercion?
Coercion is like a physical kind of threat that you are imposing on someone. It's not.
Whoa!
That's
Coercion's
not
only
threat.
Physical? You don't think your life and limb? Like, well, it's got to be physical. So your life hangs in the balance.
Right.
So what would you call it?
But you didn't.
What do you call non-physical? If this is non-physical, what do you call it? What is that dynamic? What is it called when you leverage someone's disadvantaged situation for your benefit?
You could call it exploitation.
It's exploitive?
Oh.
That seems sort of, so I'm exploiting
as
your
coercion.
situation, but what am I doing? What's the dynamic between us?
He can't admit it.
It's exploitation. It's not coercion, though. It's not the same thing.
Okay. Bye, Dan.
We've got
your branch just broke, bud. I appreciate the call.
Once again, a libertarian retreats to pedantry. Once again.
Appreciate the call.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
That is all our time that we have for a call today. That is the Doppler effect, as you hear Dan going, bah.
I like the idea that, like, it's so funny. Like,
I don't like how we made eye contact
this guy's
the entire time.
this guy's so good at fishing. It's not that he found some like magic fishing hole or can't. Why wouldn't he teach the other guy to fish? Remember that old adage? You teach a man or give a man a fish, teach a man to fish. That sort of thing. Of course, it's coercive. If you're on an island and one guy is just getting all these fish and the other guy can't figure out how to feed themselves, and the other guy starts using those fish instead of saying, "Hey, this is how you catch a fish," then that's that person coercing the other.
You're
person.
leveraging someone's hunger,
starvation, literally the basis thing.
Is that not physical? Also, I don't understand how hanging from a branch and needing a hand up and then potentially falling to your death is not physical. It's quite literally the definition of it.
Spiritually, too, it's also not so good for you.
Yeah.
We're going to have to get to
You can't quantify
the walkers tomorrow.
Here's a Joseph Townsend again, a dozen years before Reverend Malthus was writing about similar things. Hunger will tame the fiercest animals. It will teach decency and civility, obedience and subjection to the most perverse. In general, it is only hunger which can spur and goad the poor onto labor.
That's weird.
A coercion or no? I don't know.
No, that's it.
Take issue with Townsend over there.
We can get to the walkers tomorrow because my understanding is he's posting more.
Okay, we'll also get to the Shapiro. We got a lot of clips that we didn't get to. Do you think a whip is coercive if you don't actually touch them with it? What if you just take it and go, and you don't actually physically touch them? Is it coercive? I mean, is it coercive if you just have a gun and you don't fire it at somebody?
Gun to the head.
Guess what this means.
But you're not actually hurting them physically.
If I don't pull the trigger, there's no physical threat.
If I come up to you with a shotgun and then cock it and chamber in one of the shotgun shells, is that coercive?
I mean,
that's just exploitation.
That is ultimately pedantry. You see enough of these debates, that's where you go.